What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here with a beginner guitar tutorial for When You're Gone by Shawn Mendes. If this video helps you out, hit that like and subscribe button. And the guitar that we're jamming on today is called a Cort Core PE. It's an awesome guitar. Cort is actually our channel sponsor this month, so I will have links to this guitar and all their other guitars down in the description below. The first thing that you want to know to play When You're Gone on guitar is that in order to keep the song as accurate and beginner friendly as possible, we're going to capo up to 3rd frets. The next thing that you want to know for When You're Gone is the structure of the song. We're going to start out with verse 1, then go to chorus, then verse 2, then another chorus, then we'll have a bridge and we'll finish up the song with one last chorus. And the last thing that you want to know before we dive into When You're Gone is the 4 chords that we need to play this song. The first one is G, the next one is D, the next one is A, and the last one is B minor. And I'll have a beginner way to play that B minor in the pinned comment below, as well as short chord tutorials for all the other chords. And with all that in mind, let's dive into When You're Gone. Guys, When You're Gone is a beautiful new song from Shawn Mendes. It's actually really fun to play on guitar. It just has a lot of moving parts and kind of a lot to remember. So we're gonna break this down piece by piece and learn this song together. So the first thing we're gonna take a look at is what we're playing for verse 1. In verse 1, you'll hear this very fast and kind of high-pitched picking. That's what we're gonna be learning. So the first thing you'll notice is that we have a tab laid out right here. That's what we're gonna be following along with. Now, just for reference, all of those numbers in there, all those fret numbers are not relative to the capo. So whenever it says 8th fret, that's actually 8th fret. And whenever it says 10th fret, it actually means 10th fret. So with that in mind, this picking pattern is gonna be broken up into 3 shapes. The first shape is gonna look like this. We're gonna start here with an 8th fret on the D string, an 8th fret on the high E string, and then we're gonna do 10th fret on the G and B strings. And that's gonna be your first shape right there. Again, none of that relative to the capo, it's all true 8th and 10th fret. So our picking pattern for our first shape is gonna go like this. We're gonna go 8th fret on the D, 10th fret on the G, 10th fret on the B, and then we're gonna go back up to 10th fret on the G, and then 8th fret on the high E, then 10th fret on the B, then 10th on the G, and then back to 10th on the B. And that's gonna be our first shape right there. Closer to full speed, it'll sound about like this. So that's about what it's gonna look like, and that's about the speed and the feel of what we're going for. This isn't crazy difficult to play. Again, it's just very fast, especially in this beginning part. Now, transitioning to our second shape. Our second shape is gonna be very similar to this shape. All we're gonna do is move our pointer finger up 1 string from the D string to the A string on 8th fret, and everything else is gonna stay in the same spot. And our picking pattern is actually gonna stay exactly the same as it was for that last shape. All that's gonna change is that instead of playing that note, that 8th fret on the D string, we're gonna play that 8th fret on the A string. So walking through this second shape here, we're gonna go 8th fret on the A string, 10th on the G, 10th on the B, 10th on the G, 8th on the high E, 10th on the B, 10th on the G, and then 10th on the B. And then same thing here, a little closer to full speed, it'll look something like this. Just about like that. So this last shape is where things get a little bit weird. Not a hard shape to play, but a little bit of a tricky transition. We're gonna totally take everything off here, and we're gonna go to a 10th fret on the D string, and then a 9th fret on the G string, and then an 8th fret on the high E string, just like that. And that's gonna be our shape. It almost looks like a really small little C chord there. So what we're gonna be doing for this one is we're gonna play 10th on the D, 9th on the G, 8th on the high E, back up to 10th on the D, back down to 8th on the high E, and then we're gonna go 9th on the G, 10th on the D, and then back to 9th on the G. And that's what your last shape's gonna look like. A little closer to full speed on that last shape should look something like this. And we'll repeat that last shape 2 times. So that's all of our shapes there. We just have those 3 shapes, and then again, that last shape repeats 1 extra time. So like I said, guys, nothing too crazy here. The most challenging part about this is the transition between that second shape and the third shape. Not because it's super difficult, it's just a little bit of a funky transition because a lot of fingers have to move. And then again, the speed of it obviously is pretty quick. So best thing with this is to practice it really slow and then work on building up your speed to be able to play it along full speed with the song as you get better at it after you've practiced. So with all that in mind, guys, a couple times through that picking pattern that's going to repeat through verse 1 will look about like this without me talking. From there, we'll take a break from the picking patterns and get into the easiest part of the song, which is actually the choruses. For the choruses, we're just going to have a simple chord progression and a simple strum pattern to go along with it. Our chord progression for our choruses is going to be G, D, A, and A again. That chord progression will just repeat through our choruses. And then what we're going to be doing for strum pattern here is just down, up, 4 times very quickly for each chord. It'll kind of look like this with our G chord as our example. We'll go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Just about like that for each chord. So nothing too crazy here, guys. Like I said, easiest part of the song, simple chord progression, simple strum pattern. But a couple times through this chord progression and strum pattern we'll be using for the choruses will look about like this without me talking. From there, the next thing that we'll be getting into is what we're playing for our verse 2 picking pattern. Now this is going to be pretty similar to what we played for verse 1 in terms of sound, except for it's going to be quite a bit lower, but it's going to have a very similar feel to it. So this is all going to be played on the low E, A, and D strings. And again, just to remind you, that tab right there is all not relative to the capo. So when it says 6th fret, it means an actual 6th fret as if there was not a capo on there. So starting with this first shape here, we're gonna have a 6th fret on the low E and an 8th fret on the A string and then an open D. One thing that makes this a little bit easier is actually this first shape here that we're using, we're just gonna slide that up and down the fretboard for each of our 3 shapes that we have for this particular picking pattern. So that helps because you don't have as many moving parts. So with that in mind, first shape, let's break this down. We're gonna start here with a 6th fret on the E string, then we'll open D, 8th A, and then we're gonna repeat that again, 6th E, open D, 8th A, 6th E, and then open D. That's our first shape right there. Close to full speed. About like that. And that's actually gonna be the same picking pattern we're gonna be using for each of these 3 shapes in this verse 2 picking pattern. So another thing that makes it a little bit easier is that it's kind of consistent. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide this same shape up here, way up here to 13th fret and 15th fret. So again, not relative to the capo, actual 13th fret and actual 15th fret. Then we're gonna do that same picking pattern here. We got low E 13th, open D, and then we have 15th on the A. We'll repeat that again, 13th low E, open D, 15th A. Then we've got 13th low E, open D. And then that's our second shape. So a little closer to full speed. About like that. And then our last shape here, we're gonna take this same shape that we have here, we're gonna slide it down here to 8th fret on the low E, 10th fret on the A, and then again, open D. Same picking pattern here. We're gonna go 8th low E, open D, 10th A, repeat that again, 8th low E, open D, 10th A, and then we got 8th low E, open D. And that last picking pattern, that last shape there, again, we're gonna repeat that 2 times, just like we did for the verse 1 picking pattern. So a little closer to full speed on that last shape there we've got. And we'll repeat that twice each time through the verse 2 picking pattern. So same thing here, guys. This is a little bit fast, it's a little bit tricky. Best way to get better at it is to actually practice it slowly and then work on building up your speed as you get it down. So with all that in mind, guys, a couple times through that verse 2 picking pattern will look about like this without me talking. And finally, guys, the last thing that you need to know to play When You're Gone on guitar is what we're playing for our bridge. Our bridge is going to be very similar to what we played with our chorus, but just a tiny, tiny difference. So we're going to have a chord progression and a strum pattern. Our chord progression for our bridge is going to be G, D, A, and then B minor. So that's the only change. We're replacing one of those A's in the chorus with a B minor. We're going to be doing the same exact thing for strum pattern here as we did with our chorus. We're going to do down, up, 4 times very quickly for each chord. Again, kind of like just about like that for each chord. And then we're just gonna repeat that through the bridge for each one of those. So nothing too crazy here, guys. Like I said, if you did the chorus, you should be able to get this down no problem. We're just adding that B minor to the end of the chord progression. So a couple times through that bridge chord progression with that strum pattern will look about like this without me talking. And guys, that's everything you need to know to play When You're Gone on guitar. As always, if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments down below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And again, if this video helps you out, hit that subscribe button. I have about 900 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel. I usually try to post at least 2 to 3 new lessons every single week. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, there could not be a more perfect channel for you to check out. Hit up my Instagram at @thegroovyguitardude if you want to see other cool guitar related content and also just what I'm up to in between videos. And lastly, guys, big thank you to Cort again for being our channel sponsor this month and sending us out this Core PE. It's a groovy parlor guitar, so it's a little bit smaller bodied and it's super fun to play. I've had so much fun jamming on it and learning new songs lately with this guitar. I actually did an unboxing with Guitar Goddess, my wife, a few days ago with this. I'll have that linked up there so you can check out and learn more about this guitar if you want to. And again, links to everything for Cort Guitars and this guitar specifically down in the description below. Guys, I'm so stoked to be finally getting back to some more Shawn Mendes. It's been a while since I've taught anything from him, and you guys requested this song a whole lot. So thank you for introducing this song to me. I had a lot of fun learning it and teaching it. And actually, this song, playing it on guitar, reminds me of one of my other kind of favorite songs to play, which is What's My Age Again by Blink-182. A little bit of an old song, but if you know Blink, you probably can hear it in that beginning picking pattern. I don't know if it was inspired by it, but it just totally reminds me of that picking pattern that is in What's My Age Again. So anyways, I had a lot of fun learning this song. It does have a lot of moving parts in it, so it's kind of a lot to remember. And then that first picking pattern especially is pretty fast. So again, what I recommend with stuff like that that's really quick is just practice it slowly and then work on building up your speed as you get it down. You'll have it down in no time. So guys, I had a lot of fun learning this song. I hope you guys had a lot of fun learning it as well. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all soon.